Hello to everyone. Today's lecture on mycotoxins and mycotoxicosis was made within the project funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union, Transnational Quality Education for Organic Food Safety. My name is Mirna Mrkonjić-Fuka. I'm full professor of microbiology at the University of Zagreb, Faculty of Agriculture, with almost 20 years of experience in higher education, and my expertise is mainly related to the topics of food microbiology and soil microbiology. First, to answer the question, what are mycotoxins? Those are toxic compounds that are produced by molds, and molds are microscopic fungi as a part of their natural mechanism of defense against other microorganisms, animals, and humans. Mycotoxins are the cause of animal diseases called mycotoxicosis, with a serious health threat to both humans and animals. The adverse health effects of mycotoxins range from acute poisoning to long-term effects such as immune deficiency and cancer. Exposure to mycotoxins can happen either directly by eating affected food or indirectly from animals that are fed contaminated feed, in particular from milk. To a lesser extent, it can also occur after inhalation or the intake through the skin. In what kind of food can we expect mycotoxins? In not all kinds of food, however, cereals like corn, wheat, and rice, different kind of oilseeds, spices, nuts, coffee beans, dry vine fruits, and vine, apple, and grape juices are especially prone to mycotoxins formation. Here we must point out that we cannot see or smell mycotoxins, and that they can be present in food even though the mycotoxicogenic mold is no longer present. The mycotoxins production depends on live organisms, microorganisms. Everything what affects the mold growth will also affect the biosynthesis of mycotoxins, as for example, environmental conditions such as temperature, oxygen concentrations, and humidity, as well as physicochemical properties of food itself, like pH, water activity, and food composition. They are influencing mold growth, but also mycotoxins production. However, we must point out that mycotoxin production is largely dependent on the type of mold, and not every mold produces every type of mycotoxin. Mold growth and mycotoxins production can occur either before or after harvest, during storage, on, in the food itself, often under warm and humid conditions. Let's get the closer look. What are the growth conditions for the most common mycotoxins producing fungi? Different values of temperature, water activity, and pH are necessary for the optimal growth of Aspergillus, Penicillium, and Fusarium species that are producing alpha-toxin, ochratoxin, patulin, fumonisin, and deoxynivalenol, and those are commonly found mycotoxins in food. However, for example, the optimum temperature for the biosynthesis of most mycotoxins is in the range between 20 to 30 Celsius degree, and fungi itself can grow at the much higher or at much lower temperature. Very important question we have to answer is how the risk of mycotoxin contamination can be reduced. Mycotoxins are natural contaminants of food. Therefore, their formation cannot be avoided completely. The most of the methods for controlling mycotoxins are largely preventive and include good agricultural practice. The formation of mycotoxins on field can be reduced by a number of procedures, as for example by growing resistant varieties, overturning crops, plowing the soil, chemical and biological methods of plant disease control, and control the presence of insects. The most appropriate methods include harvesting and storage conditions like drying crops after harvest, and they are crucial to prevent growth of molds and accumulation of mycotoxins on harvested crops. Of course, food processing can reduce the amount of mycotoxins, their degradation, elimination, and transformation into less toxic derivatives. However, complete removal of mycotoxins from food chain through processing is difficult and expensive to achieve. And to conclude, mycotoxins are naturally occurring toxic compounds of certain types of molds and can be found in crops and food, including cereals, nuts, spices, dry fruits, apples, coffee beans, and milk. We need to distinguish between mycosis and mycotoxicosis. Both are diseases. However, mycosis is an infectious disease caused by pathogenic fungi, while mycotoxicosis are diseases due to exposure to toxic fungal metabolites. Mold usually does not grow in properly dried and stored food, so efficient drying and maintenance of the dry state or proper storage is an effective measure against mold growth and the production of mycotoxins. Thank you for your attention. The literature used for the preparation of this lecture is listed here. All photos used in this lecture are in the public domain.